Hello, you're welcome to Historical Apologia. So it's been about 2 weeks now, right, without doing a video, and I wanted to make this very short video in passing, even as we prepare for our next 3 videos, right. I think the first one is going to be the absurd nature of the Christian faith. Second one, and the third one will be on Christmas, right, the nativity story, and of course the whether or not the Christian development of Christmas. Obviously it wasn't in the first 2 centuries. Whether that development as a celebration is necessarily, well, what is the word, pagan, right, in its foundation, and also whether it is sinful to celebrate that. But in this video, I want to just make a very short submission, if you don't mind. I don't want to do a lot of editing in this video, so bear with me no matter how this video particularly goes. I just want to read the book of Psalm 2, right. I have my Bible right here. I want to read Psalm 2. So in Psalm 2, this is what it says. Why do the nations rage and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and his anointed, saying, Let us burst their bonds apart, and cast away their cords from us. He who sits in heaven laughs, the Lord holds them in derision. Then he will speak to them in his wrath, and terrify them in his fury, saying, As for me, I have set my king of Zion, my holy hill. Again, this is a verse, if you may, about Christ, right? It is a prophetic verse, a prophetic chapter rather, about Christ. So the entire Psalm 2 is a prophetic chapter about the coming of Christ, and say that the nations rage, they plot together, they set themselves apart, and their intention is very simple. They are setting themselves apart against the Lord and his anointed. And I am applying this by extension of Christ being the head of the anointed, the head of the church, to the entire people of God. Again, if you have been following the news recently, there's a lot of persecution which is going on, which is absolutely gut-wrenching, to say the least. It is an evil thing which is going on, and it is a far more important human rights issue than any that we have going on currently in our country or anywhere else, where 90% of the persecution of Christians happening in Nigeria, and the Nigerian government being so corrupt would rather maintain its PR, right, the public relations or the image it has, than rather admit that there's such a thing as Christian genocide. And I think I find appalling about all of these things when the issue is brought up by Christians, right? We have Muslim friends, even a few of mine, who, when I post on my status or on the media, they will say that, Solomon, have you done research where it is not just Christians who have been persecuted? So what? If it is a Christian who are willing to make their voice known concerning it, and you admit that there is such a thing as persecution going on, but it's not targeting just Christians only, so why are you not also speaking up, right? And the problem with this, someone was pointing out to me yesterday in a particular video that I was watching, that normally when there is a particular takeover, in this case an Islamic takeover, and people will say that the majority of Muslims are not radicals. In the end, the majority peaceful Muslim doesn't really matter. Okay, if we have a Muslim population of 2.2 billion or something or less, and you are telling me, okay, 1.8 billion of them are not radicals, they are saved, they are peaceful people, it doesn't really matter, because 200 to 400 million people are radicals. The person was making an example of Hitler, right? In Hitler's Germany, not all of them were radicals. Actually, just a few of them, okay? But then, if the radicals are in charge, the peaceful people will not protest. And that is a case that I find going on so disheartening, that when the Christians are shouting to their voices, calling on people who are far more dependable than the Nigerian government and even the African government system, whatever be, they are like, why is it that Christians are just saying that it is only Christians who are being persecuted? Last week alone, in Nigeria, in the northern Nigeria, as we speak, about 500 people were abducted. 200 from, I think, a Catholic school, most of them from Christian homes, something like that. And it is the Christians equipping the persecuted, Mike Winga, all of these people who are making some of these things known. If your people are also facing a type of persecution, speak up. And do not try to delimit what the Christians are saying. And just to emphasize, why did I even have to read a Psalm 2 in the first place? The Psalm 2 is trying to tell us that there is a plotting, right, against the Lord and his anointed. And there is an extension again for Christ, of course, his killing, and also by extension, by application, to the people of God. There is always going to be such a thing as the people of God being persecuted. But then verse 4 provides something so that he who sits in heaven laughs. The Lord holds them in derision. And as much as this happening is a very hurtful thing, it's probably not a thing we can just resolve right away. I think that is hopeful, at least, to assume that our God understand what is going on, and that Christians in this time, we do more for ourselves if we come together, if we pray for ourselves, and of course if we take protection and call on the proper authority to help us and even arm us against such wicked people. And again, if you are a kind-hearted Muslim watching this, the best you can do, again, if you have a platform, also equally speak up. Christians are pulling statistics out. They will tell you this is the number of Muslims, this is the number of Christians, this is the number of this, which has been happening in northern Nigeria for these past years. If the Muslim really wanted to end this, if the Islamic community also wanted to add their voice to it, bring up the statistics. How many Muslims are being killed, and equally condemn some of these barbarous activities? I remember I followed some missionaries, right? And we had one missionary, and they had a convention, I think in Pakistan or something. And the people, of course, they went through the waters of baptism because they became Christian. And when that happens, they posted an image of them, but they couldn't even show their face. Why? Because they are monitoring them. Because their very lives are at risk if they post the faces of these people who have converted from the Islamic faith to the Christian faith. So my heart is a bit burdened by this, but it is very tricky because in areas of religion, even when you speak and you make the distinction between radical and peaceful Muslims, people say that why are you using Muslims or Islamists or jihadists or something like this? That is what they call themselves. And it is a significant portion, 15 to 20 or 15 to 30%, 200 to 400 million people. Again, how many are the population of Ghana or something like that? So I do hope there is some relief to come. I hope that the Nigerian government will stop the prayer and trying to save the Christians, and I hope that eventually, again, the like of Trump and other war-meaning people will step out. It is a certain, and I wish now more than ever that Christians have a way of defending themselves against these terrorists, these jihadists, these whatever words you want to call them. And we should come together, both together, as much as possible, go to equipping the persecutor, which is, they are doing a fantastic thing, right? Helping to equip the millions and millions of Christians in Nigeria, rather thousands, maybe probably, who are going through. Because the last time I watched a stream between them and Pastor Mike Wenga, they were speaking about how they are doing surgery for these people, how they are protecting these people, how they are sheltering these people. And these are all Christians who are being ostracized by the radical Islamic community. Again, if you're a peaceful Muslim, you don't speak up. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. If there's an Islamic takeover, you, the Muslim, will live peacefully. At least will attempt to live peacefully. Look at what is happening in Afghanistan. The Taliban that is in charge, majority of them are not Talibans, right? But then there's nothing the peaceful Muslim can do. They cannot take up arms and fight against it. That's why Christians speak up when radical Islamists start trying to unite the takeover. Look at what is happening in the UK, abnormal things. You cannot even criticize Islam or the Prophet of Islam, but then someone who is a Dawa guy can say that, oh, if you are a convert from Islam, you should be killed, and it is on YouTube and it is fine. But when the opposite voice is being said, it is a certain. Look at what is happening in Seaborn in US and Minneapolis and stuff. Again, let us put our foot down, stand with Christians, in some cases arm them so that they can rightly self-defend themselves. Above all things, let us understand that the Lord holds them in derision. The Lord sits in heaven, his love is like, you think what you are doing will succeed. Even if it is an ember of people, even if it is a remnant of people, the Christian faith according to the Matthew 16 will stand. God bless you, and pray once again for the persecuted in Nigeria, in all places, and pray for peace to abound. Again, even in Ghana, there's a discussion going on. I'd rather not say anything right now because I said something already. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video. The obscenity of the Christian faith, the real nativity story, and of course, it's Christmas pagan. Probably not. Who knows? We thank God. God bless you. Amen.